The jungle whispers death. Guadalcanal, 1942. A paradise turned to hell. You've heard of Pearl Harbor, Midway, Iwo Jima, but there's a battle that haunts the nightmares of those who survived. A campaign so brutal, so merciless, it redefined the meaning of war. Welcome to Guadalcanal, August 1942, America's first major offensive against Japan. The target, a tiny speck in the vast Pacific. From above, it looked like Eden, pristine beaches, lush forests, crystal waters. But appearances deceived. This island held the key to the entire Pacific theater, an airfield that could make or break the Allied war effort. U.S. Marines hit the beaches hard and fast. They seized the unfinished airstrip, later christened Henderson Field. But this was no quick victory. It was just the beginning of a descent into madness. The Japanese weren't about to let go. Night after night, the Tokyo Express came, destroyers, slicing through inky waters, disgorging fresh troops and supplies. The jungle came alive with the sounds of war. Imagine fighting in darkness so thick you can't see your own hands. The air heavy with humidity and the stench of rotting vegetation. Every shadow could be an enemy. Every rustle in the undergrowth could mean death. This wasn't combat. It was survival. Disease ravaged both sides. Malaria turned strong men into shivering wrecks. Dysentery emptied guts and sapped strength. Hunger gnawed at bellies and minds. But still they fought, because stopping meant death. The Japanese threw themselves at American lines with suicidal fury. Bonsai charges, waves of screaming men hurling themselves into certain death. Marines held their ground, fingers locked on triggers, eyes wild with fear and determination. The jungle floor became a carpet of bodies. Every hill was a fortress. Every stream crossing a killing zone. Men died 4 inches of mud and roots. The very earth seemed to hunger for blood. For 6 long months, Guadalcanal devoured men and machines without mercy. The waters around the island became a graveyard of ships, so many that sailors dubbed it Iron Bitum Sound. Steel coffins by the dozens littered the seafloor. But even Japanese fanaticism had its limits. By early 1943, their strength was spent. Too much blood spilled, too many lives wasted. The order came, retreat. Guadalcanal was abandoned. The cost, horrific, thousands dead, countless more scarred in body and mind. But from this crucible of suffering came hope. Guadalcanal proved the Japanese could be beaten. It was the first step on the long road to Tokyo. This wasn't a battle. It was slaughter in paradise. And it was just the beginning of America's brutal march across the Pacific. You think you know war. You don't know Guadalcanal. This is where legends were forged in blood and fire. This is where the fate of nations was decided in the mud of a God-forsaken jungle. The story of Guadalcanal isn't found in sanitized history books. It's etched in the nightmares of old men who still wake up screaming 6 decades later. It's in the rusted wrecks that litter the island, silent witnesses to unimaginable carnage. Picture this, You're a 19-year-old kid from Iowa, never been further than the county fair. Suddenly, you're dumped on a beach in hell. The air is thick with mosquitoes and the smell of decay. Your boots sink into mud that seems to want to swallow you whole. And then the shooting starts. Muzzle flashes in the darkness. The chittering sound of Japanese machine guns. The thud of mortar. Your buddies falling around you, screaming for their mothers. This is Guadalcanal. This is war, stripped of glory, laid bare in all its horror. The days blur together. You're always wet, always hungry, always afraid. Sleep is a luxury you can't afford, because the moment you close your eyes, a Japanese soldier might be there with a bayonet. You learn to kill or be killed. You see things no human should ever see. The jungle becomes your enemy as much as the Japanese. It hides snipers, conceals traps, breeds diseases that turn your insides to liquid. Remember Henderson Field? That precious airstrip that started this whole mess. It becomes the focal point of Japanese fury. Night after night, they shell it. The ground shakes, the air filled with screaming metal, and you pray. You pray harder than you've ever prayed in your life. But prayer isn't enough. Not here. Here, survival depends on the man next to you, on your rifle, on your willingness to do whatever it takes to see another sunrise. The battles have names that will be seared into military history. Bloody Ridge, the Battle of Edson's Ridge, the Naval Battle of Guadalcanal. Each one a meat grinder, chewing up men and spitting out corpses. And the sea, oh God, the sea. It's not just the land that's hungry for blood. Naval battles turn the waters red. Ships explode, sending men and metal to the depths. If you're lucky, you die quickly. If you're not, well, there are worse things than sharks in these waters. But slowly, painfully, the tide turns. The Japanese, for all their fanaticism, can't match American resources. Can't replace ships and planes as fast as they're destroyed. Can't feed the meat grinder forever. When they finally retreat, it's not with a bang, but a whimper. They slip away in the night, leaving behind their dead and an island forever changed. You've survived Guadalcanal, but at what cost? The boy who landed on that beach is gone. In his place is a man with old eyes, haunted by memories that will never fade. This is the truth of Guadalcanal. Not a glorious victory, but a brutal slog through hell itself. A battle that broke men, shattered illusions, and set the stage for years of bloody conflict to come. It wasn't paradise, it was slaughter in the jungle. And for those who were there, it was only the beginning. You think you know war. You don't know shit until you've walked through the green hell of Guadalcanal. This is where America learned the true cost of victory in the Pacific. This is where legends were born and innocents died. Want more stories like this? Stories that rip away the sanitized veneer of history and show you the raw, bleeding truth. Then subscribe to War Chronicles Stories, because real history isn't written in textbooks. It's written in blood, sweat, and the memories of those who lived it. Guadalcanal, the name alone is enough to make old soldiers wake up in a cold sweat. It's a reminder that war isn't glorious. It's a meat grinder that chews up the young and spits out the broken. But it's also a testament to human endurance, to the strength of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable horror, to the bonds forged between men when death is breathing down their necks. This is just one story from the vast tapestry of human conflict. There are countless more waiting to be told. Stories of courage, of sacrifice, of man's inhumanity to man. Are you ready to hear them? Are you prepared to look into the abyss of human nature and see what looks back? Then join us, because the lessons of Guadalcanal of all wars are too important to be forgotten. They're a warning from the past, a beacon for the future. This is War Chronicles Stories, where history bleeds and the truth hits harder than any bullet.